we are back with the second installment of the cabin kitchen renovation. All those cabinets, all that work that we did last week, we are moving that upstairs and getting ready to start building in the kitchen. Check it out. All right, so you guys have seen them working so hard downstairs. We are ready to bring this cabinet upstairs. Fingers crossed, everything fits like a glove. We've still got to work on the piece that we're gonna cut to go up against the logs, but we're gonna place it and see how it looks.
So you remember when we were rescuing those boards from downstairs, I told you we had to save that one wider board, and this is what we needed it for. So this is actually a practice board, but Jesus is very carefully tracing the shape of those logs. We're going to cut this practice board, maybe use it as a template, maybe cut another practice board. We need to cut this out to mimic those logs so that it will be like a spacer piece at the end of that cabinet to bump right up to those logs.
¿Cuántos intentaste sacar? Dos. Dos.
All right, so if all goes well, we're going to cut to those lines that he is darkening up, and hopefully they're going to fit snug to these logs. We'll see.
It is a new day at the log cabin kitchen, and these cabinets are pretty much set, and now we're turning our attention to the island. So I told you before, we're taking this high part off. We're going to take that countertop off and extend the island with the overhang this way and legs this way. First of all, we have to figure out how to deconstruct this island that's been really well built. All right, so we got that laminate countertop off. We're taking this layer by layer. I'm starting to bust out the tile. The guys are getting ready to disconnect the gas and move this gas range. It's going back, so we don't want to mess around with gas, and we also don't want to take a chance on messing up or damaging the cooktop. So we're just gonna keep going layer by layer. And Jesus is taking out the last piece of the countertop. Well, not true. This piece is still there, but that's got to be cut off. But so we got all the layers off. There was tile, thin set, Durock, and 2 pieces of plywood, but it's all off. We still got to take these little brackets off, but we're finally where we can start thinking about how we're going to reconstruct. Right, so it was getting dusty, so we decided to plastic everything before we did the worst part of it, which was cutting that last little backsplash off. So it's now all nice, one level. And we're finally ready to start talking about building out this way. All right, so a good day's work, a slow day's work. We finally got all of the layers off. We got this trimmed down to the height that we want. Now we've got to start putting it back together. For one thing, we have taken off what a lot of these boards are attached to on the top part. So the first thing we're going to do is run a 2x4 in between all these 2x4s and tack these back into place. We are then going to start building. So we have 2 posts. There's our posts right there. And so we're debating, does the post stay in line with the corner? Does it recess back just a little bit? So we've got to work through all of that. But we are getting ready to call it a day. It looks like we're going to get some rain, so we're going to pack up, get everything outside packed up, and we'll be back tomorrow to get to work.
Jesus is rocking and rolling. You remember I told you we had legs for this island. We used those with some 2x4s and some cabinet grade wood. He notched all that together, and we've got a great looking support for that countertop. We did not recess the leg on the far side though. As I told you, we were debating. There's going to be an overhang right here on this side. So we kept all of that in line.
All right, so it is a new day. We are back here at the kitchen and we're turning our attention into how we are going to mount this to the wall. So we did not quite build this as deep as this is, but we needed the front to be flush with that. So there's a bit of a gap in the back, but we've got to screw it to something. And of course, those logs are not even or flush or level or plumb. So Jesus has built almost like a wall that we're going to put and screw that to the logs, and then we will anchor our cabinet to that. So he's figuring out exactly where that needs to go. You can see, since we were here, we pulled off this window seal. It was a short little window seal, and then, or the apron under the window seal, and then there was plywood. So we took that plywood off. Once the countertop goes in, we're gonna do a new apron that goes all the way down to the countertop. All right, so that is in place. It is nice and sturdy. If you see here, there was almost like a knot on that log, so we had to Jesus had to notch that out. This is good and sturdy and strong and level and plumb, and we will screw this cabinet to that. Hey y'all, so we are back at my good buddy Lee Barefield's showroom, and today we are gonna pick a countertop for both the kitchen and the office space. So we have all of these to choose from. These are all quartz, and these are all granites. We're leaning toward the quartz. We don't know if we're gonna go with something with a lot of veining, with some of the gold, some of the gray. We'll see what we decide. All right, so we have made a decision. So here's your cabinet, and here's what we decided to go with, and that is frost white. And we're leaning toward an oversized, much bigger than this, white backsplash tile. Now in the office space, this is our door, and we're gonna do that same countertop. So the frost white in both spaces, and I think it's going to look great. So as promised, today is countertop template day. Darren is here and he is templating the countertops. So we did not have to take the countertop off yet. Of course, we will take it off, but since it's still a functioning kitchen, we wanted to leave it here as long as possible. And this is always interesting to me. He brings these plastic pieces and he uses like an acetone that he squirts on the corners and it melts them together. So you can see here. And then next he will work on our island. All right, so we are back at the cabin kitchen and it's been a little bit. The last time we were here, you saw we finished up this leg and this cabinet. They came and templated, and tomorrow they are coming with new countertops. So we have to bust that old countertop out. So that's what we're gonna do. So you can see it's coming out pretty good in big chunks. We're gonna try to repurpose that sink, or at least leave it for the homeowner to repurpose. So we're carefully working around the sink. The main thing is to just get all the tile off. All right, so we removed the layer of tile and there was a layer of Duroc under that, which is what's made all this mess, or a backer board. So we've just got to do a little cleaning up, get this sink out of the way, and we'll be ready for the countertops over here and over here and over here. So we are one step closer to having this kitchen completed. So removing the sink, of course, has been a little trickier than we planned. We have had, not everything under there has a cutoff, so we've had to find cutoffs in other parts of the house. but these guys are slowly and steadily getting it disconnected so that we can get it out, so that we can get those tops in tomorrow.
The countertops are here, and they look so good.
That is a big, beautiful island. All right, so they have had to cut the hole for the cooktop on site, and it's a little bit tight, so we're gonna get a little bit more off. But my goodness, we have more than doubled their counter space, which is great. Right, they cut that hole, that cooktop fits in there like a glove. Love this big space over here. It just looks great. The way that they cut this to the logs, so good. Now we will put a window skirt right there, put that receptacle in, and then this will be done. I have been working on finding the right combination of stain and clear coat on all of this new wood. So if you remember, this is that old wood that we took from downstairs. It's raw wood, but it's old and it's already aged. So I think if we just do clear coat on this, it'll match that pretty good. This is also pine, but it is a newer pine and it has not aged. So I think we've got to do a little bit of a stain on these legs and that apron, and then a clear coat. But we've also got a few little places in the wood that are going to need to be touched up where we tore off that old countertop. But we're getting there. All right, so we're wrapping up for the day. Just wanted you guys to see how great this looks. Looks amazing. So that's another busy day in the cabin kitchen. Okay, that's a wrap on this installment of the cabin kitchen renovation. Those countertops going in really made this project start to come together. Come back next time. We'll be doing all the final little details and jumping into the room next door to do a quick little project. I hope you'll join us.